Welcome everybody to the Legal Influencers of LinkedIn webinar. I'm absolutely delighted with the positive response we've received from the legal community. As you can clearly see, we are joined by two very special guests today in Shay Rowbottom, who is the LinkedIn queen, as you may or may not know, but I'm sure most of you will know, and she will be running through some tips for lawyers and the legal industry around all things video and LinkedIn. And Trisha Baxter, who's the managing partner of her firm out in Philadelphia and in the US, and is absolutely crushing it right now, having gone through the boot camp, which Shay went through, the 6-week video boot camp, all about LinkedIn. So really excited to hopefully help current and future lawyers embrace LinkedIn and the platform. So without further ado, I'll pass over to Shay, who's going to share some of her secrets.
Hey, thank you so much, Robert. Thank you for putting this together. It's so great to meet all of you. The lawyer industry is booming on LinkedIn. I'm starting to get a lot more people in the legal field coming to me for advice. So Robert, Trisha, and I just thought it'd be a good idea to put this together. So I'm gonna go over, I clicked on some of your profiles. I haven't gotten to all of them, but I sent out a few connection requests. I see there's a spectrum. Some of you, it looks like your profile is pretty built out. You're probably already utilizing it. Some of you, it looks like you're starting all the way from ground zero. That's totally cool. When you sign up for my program, I actually address all of that. So it doesn't matter if you're coming in and you already have videos made, or you're coming in, you're like, I've never shot a video for LinkedIn in my life. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna address it all today. And if you have any questions that come up throughout this webinar, just drop them in the Q&A. Robert, if you could help monitor that a little bit,
Sure.
maybe shoot me some questions as they come up, but we will do a more formal Q&A at the end of my presentation. I'm gonna introduce Trisha, who you should all be following on LinkedIn because her content's awesome and she's a great example to learn from in this field. So I'm just gonna start by going over a little bit of my experience. Like I said, if anything comes up, you can drop it in the chat. We will get to it after I share. So here we go. Let me make sure. Can you guys see my screen?
I believe we can.
Yes. Okay, cool. Everyone seeing it? Awesome. Okay, so how I went from 4 to, I actually have over 300,000 followers now on LinkedIn in 2 years using video. So first, I just want to get into LinkedIn a little bit. Why LinkedIn? I think you guys already know, this is the best platform, social media platform for business. Everyone that logs into LinkedIn is in a business mindset. They're already looking for someone to solve their problem, for somebody that they can pay money to. So it's really unlike any other social media platform in that Facebook, Instagram, yeah, you can run ads for your law firm and you can hit people with the right targeting and find them at that exact moment in the right time. But I found that it's a lot harder on those platforms because people aren't necessarily logging in already looking for a business solution, a partner, a vendor, an employee, a lawyer, like they would be on a professional platform like LinkedIn. And then when it comes to video, so this is hands down, you guys, why I have been so successful, because I utilize video content. When I got on LinkedIn 2 years ago, I ran a video marketing company on Facebook where we provided video content to large pages on Facebook. And right away when I got on LinkedIn, I realized, whoa, there's like no competition. Businesses aren't using video here. What's the deal? And I hopped in and took everything that I had learned working for those blogs all those years and applied it to my own LinkedIn profile. And I mean, immediately I started to get leads. So, there's less competition on LinkedIn when it comes to video. It stands out in the feed, and there's more of a human connection on video. So some of you may have been following me. Maybe you're a recent follower, maybe you followed me for years. Chances are you kind of feel like you already know me because you've seen me on video. I would not have been able to cultivate the following that I have today or attracted as many clients if I had posted everything that I posted, but it was in text form. When people see you on video, they're already thinking, what would it be like to do business with this person? What would it be like to get coffee with this person? They're already in that mindset. So any direct outreach campaign you do in the future, if you do decide to do a messenger outreach campaign where, you're basically just direct pitching your services on LinkedIn, which we do still see a lot of on LinkedIn, you're not going to have a lot of success unless it's coupled with an organic video content strategy. For example, if I did a direct outreach campaign on LinkedIn, which I haven't yet, literally everything I've done is inbound, then a lot more people would actually open and be responsive to that messaging campaign now, because they have already seen me around LinkedIn on video. So it's just super supportive of all your other marketing. For me, within 2 months of creating videos consistently on my LinkedIn, I had generated over 6 figures in revenue for that Facebook video agency. So it was very life-changing for me, opened up my eyes right away. Like, wow, there's a whole nother business here. There's so much money on LinkedIn that's just sitting here, and people aren't utilizing video marketing. So I want to get into a little bit more, a little bit later, about the subject matter. And this is also something that I've coached Trisha on. She does it really well, balancing her really niche, lawyer content with sometimes more personal stuff, sometimes talking about mom life, whatever the case, because that really also resonates on LinkedIn. And I attribute a lot of my growth to getting a little more personal, vulnerable, and broad in my subject matter, and not always necessarily just talking about video marketing. So coming up with content. So this is step one. A lot of you, chances are, if you tuned in this webinar, this is where you're at. You're like, how do I even get started? What am I going to talk about? So this is what I tell everyone. If nothing else, just always ask yourself, what is valuable to my target market? What do I know that could make my target market's lives easier? So the reality is, people don't want to be sold to. No one cares about what you sell. People care about one thing in 2020, and that's convenience. How convenient can you make something? How convenient can I make the tips that I share in my videos, even, by making the videos short, by making them easy to consume on the timeline, by not, wasting any of these professionals' day, with a long drawn out video. It's like just making things very convenient so that people can consume it. Educating is convenient. If I can give you a quick tip in 60 seconds on how to write better headlines for your content on LinkedIn, that's convenient, and people are going to value and remember that. So again, quick, to the point pieces of video content that will simultaneously not take up too much time and provide a tangible takeaway that the viewer will remember. So always think, what's valuable to my target market? What do I know that they don't that would make their life easier? And how can I package that up into a video to share it with them? So some of you might even be thinking of some things right now. What's been coming up at work? What are a lot of people asking for? Write it down on this call. Just start writing down content ideas. Oh, I had 3 prospects this week all ask me this question. It seems like a lot of people are in the dark when it comes to law and this. I'm going to actually just make a video about it, post it on my LinkedIn, and boom, you start helping people, you start providing value, and you gain trust and build a following that way. So again, what's convenient? How to find a lawyer? That's one that people ask me all the time. Do you have a lawyer, Shay, that I could work with? It's like, whatever people are searching regularly for, make a video about it. Whatever FAQs you get, like I just mentioned, like make a video out of that. What is the most common thing people are struggling with, people are asking you for? How can you relieve that stress in them? These are all content ideas. So even on this call, if you're starting to think of things, write it down. This is actually an example of, like, I work with a lot of sales consultants. So, just to also give another industry perspective, like when working with salespeople, these are some of the content ideas they'll come up with. How to avoid being ghosted by prospects. That's really common in the sales community. You have someone on the line, you think they're going to close, and then they ghost you. That's a video idea. Tips on an effective pitch deck, ways to save money on direct messaging strategies, cold calling when you have a high ticket offer. So that is another industry that I work heavily with, is salespeople. Those are some content ideas around their industry. So this is what I was touching on earlier about not always talking about your industry. So it's good to create a list, and I would recommend that everyone on this call just get in the habit of having an archive. I have an archive of video ideas where throughout the week, as things come up, as clients ask me questions, I write it down like, ooh, that would be a good video idea. Oh, you know, this person on LinkedIn, they didn't know that you can actually go clear all of your outstanding pending connection requests on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has a limit to how many connection requests you can send out. A lot of people don't know that you can go and you can clear all the pending connections that no one ever responded to from you, so you can start over and keep growing your network. So for example, I had that come up this week. I wrote it down in my archive. That would be a good video idea. People on LinkedIn probably want to know how to do that. You could just create a little webcam video showing everyone how, and boom, I have some content. So always be creating a long running list, an archive around industry topics that would be valuable to your target market. And this goes into the repurposing, which I have on this slide here. Once you actually start creating the content, you're gonna find, and I'm sure Trisha, you've already seen this because you've made so many videos, you're gonna find that in the comment section, people are gonna inspire you with ideas for follow-up videos, for more content. Maybe you answered one question that's heavily asked in the legal field, and now there's a follow-up question, like 3 different people in the comments all asked another question. You know, could this be another piece of video content? So I've actually gotten a lot of my ideas for content from the comment section of other content. So it does get easier, and that's what I mean when I say repurposing. You can repurpose the same video, but remix it to now account for what these people have been asking for in the comment section, et cetera, et cetera. The other element to repurposing, and again, this gets easier once you have enough content over time, but you guys, like, I don't even need to come up with new content ideas if I don't want to, because I've just been doing this for so long that when you accumulate enough data and enough experimentation around your industry, cover enough topics, I already know consistently through my data tracking which content performs the best and what's most valuable to my audience. So I can actually just not come up with new ideas at all and just continue to rinse and repeat what already works in my industry. So always keep that in mind starting out. Starting out, a lot of my clients they usually struggle to come up with ideas. They feel like it's hard to get going. But remember, every idea that you put out there is a test. It does get easier. And luckily for all of you, you've got pioneers like Trisha, who herself has now paved the way, because like when I started working with you, there was like no lawyers on LinkedIn making content. Now I see more and more are coming, but that's another great avenue, you guys. Go follow other people in your industry who are already making content and just copy their ideas. You know, go through Trisha's profile. What's highest performing? How could you recover that topic in your own light? You know, that's not cheating. That's just simply looking at data. What is most valuable to people? What do people want to hear from lawyers? And go repurpose content from another lawyer. So good job, Trisha, because I know when we started, there was like no one for you to copy from, right?
There was one, and I think he's on this call. Neil's on this call.
Neil, yes.
If you're not following Neil Greenbaum, following him. I looked and looked for lawyers, and he was the only one consistently. I mean, you can see ones here and there pop up who consistently put up video. And at the time, I think he had almost 5,000 followers, and I had like, I think 800 followers. And I was like, oh my God, he's got 5,000 followers. And he was being himself. I was so inspired by him. I reached out to him. And I think shortly after is when I got into your program. But yeah, there was one, and he was it. And he's on this call. So that's awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. I've met Neil in person many times down here in Miami at the LinkedIn local events. He's really, really awesome guy and a good example for content. So this is what happens. You know, it's like, either way, you're in a good spot. You know, either way, if you're the first of your industry, well, guess what? There's no competition. You're the first of your industry, pave the way. But if you're not, and let's say you're a beauty blogger, or you're in the cosmetics field, because I always use that as the example of like, they dominate social media, right? Like every YouTube tutorial, Instagram feeds, like makeup and fashion, that's like everywhere on social media. So you could argue, oh, there's so much competition. But I always look at it like, yeah, but there's also so many examples to pull from. You can just see what's already working and rinse and repeat it for yourself. So definitely keep that in mind. Follow Trisha and Neil. And after this call, a lot of you are also going to be joining forces. And that's why I want for a lot of you to join up, sign up for this boot camp together, because I'm doing a special today. And if you sign up together, then you're all going through it at the same time, and you can kind of support each other, all being in the industry as well. So, and that leads to collaborating, you know, collaborate with other people in your industry, get on a Zoom call and just ask each other questions. You know, I have admins who go through my Zoom calls who just know by now what content performs well, and they'll pick out the highlights. You know, oh, Shay and this person are having a conversation. They're just going to go through it for me, sift through it for me, and pick out the highlights and make little micro clips out of that. So a really super easy way to make content. It's also a great way to connect with other people in your industry. Connect with all of your competitors, you know, connect with every single lawyer. Remember, their target market is your target market. So not only is it going to be valuable to have those people in your network because your content will be relevant to them, and all the lawyers are going to be self-righteous about their own way of doing things, right? So they're going to comment on your post. They're going to have something to say about it because it's relevant to them. That helps your content. And then the flip side, boom, when they comment, it shows it to everyone in their network on LinkedIn. So it's a double whammy. You get to also start to kind of share each other's audiences, and abundance mindset. You know, there's no competition here. We can all help each other win. I know Trisha has since made a pod. You said you made an engagement group on LinkedIn with a bunch of, is it female lawyers or just lawyers?
It's about 50 female lawyers, and they vary on what they do. Some are exactly in my space. They are in litigation. Maybe they're in different types of litigation. Others are coaches. Other have businesses, but they're all lawyers. And they all drop their links, you know, when they post. And it's no obligation. It's not like a strict pod. There's no rules to it. But I think there's a genuine support there. People want other people to do well. And I started that pod, I think, in February. And you can see all of their connections going up, their opportunities going up. You know, they have media reaching out to them, asking for quotes. They're being seen as leaders in their field, all because, not just because, but it helps to have that support, that network there, that on LinkedIn that has that same mindset and that helps each other out. And I think the lawyers have a bad reputation, but most of them really do have this professional approach to helping each other out. So love it.
Amazing. Yeah, no, that's so great that you did that. That's also something that we go over more in my bootcamp program, is how to build your own pod, how to utilize engagement groups on LinkedIn, and just other, any little hack that I've come across for boosting your content once you've actually started creating your content. We break down in week 5 of the 6-week LinkedIn video bootcamp, which I'll get to more. So thank you, Trisha. And then the last thing I want to cover in this slide is just storytelling. So, you know, how can you get vulnerable? How can you just show your humanity? A lot of people in the professional world have this misconception that you have to be all buttoned up and flawless to get business. You know, it's not true at all. One of my top generating videos for leads was a video where I admitted I had no idea what I was doing as an entrepreneur. I was just like, I don't know, I'm making it up as I go. I'm young. I don't understand taxes still. I'm just figuring it out. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm nothing special. And then like, I just got a ton of inbound leads for my video marketing, which I do know what I'm doing there. But, you know, like just sort of revealing that you're human. What's the biggest mistake you've ever made as a lawyer? You know, how can you share that? How can you open up and be vulnerable? I know that it can be scary, and, you know, some of you maybe have, you know, bosses to consider, and people that don't want you being vulnerable. I always say, just for whatever your comfort level is, be as vulnerable as you can. If you have your own firm, maybe you can get a little more raw because it's all yours. If you work for someone else, just get as raw as you can as an employee or a staff member. And that attracts a lot of eyeballs as well. So this is just I'm just gonna go over some basic tips now. You're all thinking about content. You've got some of your ideas written down. How can I make a video out of this? Your common FAQs you get asked. Be confident. This is also a huge part of the program. A lot of people just struggle to get started. You know, we walk you through all the steps you need to know to ensure that you are doing it right. It's not rocket science. You know, these aren't big, massive productions. We're not asking you to buy a Sony a7S camera and go get crazy lighting equipment. You know, that's something to work toward. This is, you know, keeping it simple so that you can stay consistent. don't introduce yourself, okay? So if you guys have been following me for a long time, you've probably heard me say that by now. Don't introduce yourself. That's the number one mistake I see with video creators on LinkedIn. They start the video with, you know, hey, I'm Shay Rowbottom and I'm here with Shay Rowbottom Marketing, and today I want to talk to you about LinkedIn video marketing. And I've totally just destroyed my first 3 to 5 seconds, which is the most important time on social media to capture attention. So just go right into the video, you know, just go right into whatever the topic that you're covering is going to be. You know, hey, did you know that you can remove all your pending connections on LinkedIn? That topic that I mentioned earlier, that subject idea I thought of this week, that's how I would actually start that video. I would just get right into it. Keep the content short. Remember, if you are brand new to making content and it might be different, so maybe some of you already have a following, maybe not, but if you're brand new and people don't trust you yet and you have no followers, then when your content shows up in the feed and it's unknown, you're a stranger to these people, remember, they're a lot less likely to invest 5 minutes into a stranger and their unknown content than they are 60 seconds. I grew so quick because I was doing 60-second videos, 60 seconds. People are like, who's this Shay chick? But they're like, you know what? It's only 60 seconds. I'll check her out. If I was doing 7-minute videos right away, I would not have grown as quickly. So keep that in mind. Have a tangible takeaway with each message. So you can shoot videos on the fly. You know, you can just have an idea of what you want to talk about, but you need to know the takeaway. You need to know, how are you ending it? What is the takeaway? What is the viewer taking with them after this video is over? And then a healthy CTA. You know, hey, do you guys have any LinkedIn hacks that you could share? Let me know in the comments below. I say healthy CTA. CTA means call to action. So you always want to do a call to action. You don't ask, you don't get. So when I say healthy CTA, what I mean specifically is you're not having a call to action back to your law firm at the end of every video. I know that seems like the thing you want to do on LinkedIn, but wait a minute, we want to give our number. We want to give how people can contact us. It's kind of like reverse psychology, right? People don't want to be sold to. So if at the end of the video, you're using it to pitch, people are going to click away and be like, yeah, whatever, I don't need a lawyer right now. But if you instead use it to have a CTA for the topic at hand, hey, what did you guys think about this topic? Have you ever ran into this issue when dealing with a legal issue? You know, whatever you can do to pool engagement in the comments. That's the goal here, is more eyeballs. How many eyeballs can I get on my profile? Boom, I'm bound to attract some people who are in the mindset to do business with me and are going to reach out to do business. So headlines, super important. Definitely a huge factor of what I teach in my program. You do want to get good at writing headlines. We coach a lot on how to do that. You can hire, I use Upwork. It's a platform that I use to outsource to editors. It's what Patricia uses now in the boot camp. We walk through how to navigate Upwork so that you can hire an editor. I give you all of my SOPs, so my standard operating procedures for hiring freelancers to help support your content creation. It's basically just a cut and paste system so that you have it all ready to go and you can just plug and play and start to create the same system that I have with your video content. But that's another, you know, common question I'll get is like, Shay, how do you get all these views on your videos? I don't get it. Most people on LinkedIn don't even have one headline. Okay, I have 4 headlines, and I'm going to teach you how you can consistently have 4 headlines too. So the first one is very simple. It's the copy. So the first line of your 1,300 characters, you got to have a headline. So need a good laugh? Watch this. Right away, I kick off. I'm honest. I'm letting them know this is going to be funny. This is going to be humorous. I want them to know what they're getting into. And then we call this a bar on the top of the video. If you go to Trisha's page, you'll see she has a lot of bar headlines. Also just another way to grab attention. So CEO versus COO, that was the subject of my skit. So that was my bar here. And then additional headline in the thumbnail, the battle between the visionary and the operations team. That's what my thumbnail, which is basically something that, again, we will train your editor in my program to make a thumbnail in the first frame of the video so it captivates more attention. And then the opening line of the video. So just like I said, hey, did you guys know this hack about LinkedIn? So my opening verbal line of the video is also a headline. So that's 4 headlines. And pro tip, make the first thumbnail or make the thumbnail the first frame of your video, because unlike YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn doesn't actually let you upload a thumbnail with the video content yet, but that's all something we go over in the bootcamp too, is how you can still kind of hack it and have headlines on LinkedIn. These are just some examples of bar headlines. These are the copy headlines, which are also super important. Remember, video is still new on LinkedIn. This is why I've had so much success and why people like Trisha are having success, because there's not a lot of competition with video. But the copy of your video is super important, because remember, traditionally for years and years on LinkedIn, that's how everyone consumed content, was reading text. So you can actually have a really good video, but if your text headline isn't also fire, it can make a big difference, because that's where people's eyes still go on LinkedIn. So, you know, I do what I can to catch attention right here in the text. If people really find money offensive, they should probably unfollow me. It's like, whoa, this chick is taking a strong stance on money. I want to see what's up. And then you want to prompt them to click that see more button right here. So that's kind of the goal of these first 3 lines, is how can I get people intrigued so they click this see more button? And the thumbnail, again, just more opportunity for headlines. So this is just an example. What is this I got here? Yeah, just like bad headlines. So let's say you wanted to make a video. Let's say you coach startups and you want to make a video about cash flow and how important it is. A bad headline would be, at the beginning of your video, you actually go, today I want to talk about something that so many startups struggle with and waste too much time figuring out as a priority: cash flow. Or, hi, I'm Carol with Finance Solutions, and today I want to share a tip. It's like, these are all just ways you're going to lose people right away. You want to start with the meat, no appetizer. Give them the meat right away and then work backwards in what you're explaining to them. So a good headline would be, struggling with cash flow issues at your startup. I get it. It's totally common. And then you could go into more of a headline like this, you know, or talk about, you know, your solution for them. Or a headline could be, why do so many startups fail to maintain proper cash flow? This is priority number 1. So notice the difference there between the bad headlines and the good ones. The good ones, you just want to get right into it. You cannot give away too much value on social media. It's impossible. Editing. Again, I don't want to overwhelm you guys. A lot of you are still in the place of just getting used to being on camera. This is all a step-by-step process in my program. So the program is 6 weeks long. We go over, you know, just general social media marketing in week 1. Week 2 is all about how to come up with scripts for your industry, how to come up with content. Week 3 is how to actually shoot the videos, confidence building, how to get on camera now that you have these scripts and these ideas, now that you understand the framework of social a little more. But then week 4, we go into editing. So I actually teach people how to hire editors remotely on Upwork. And like I mentioned, I have SOPs. I have all my systems that I basically just hand off to you so that you can create the same system. It is not expensive. That's what a lot of people say to me. Oh, Shay, I can't afford an editor. I pay all of my editors right now less than $10 an hour. And a lot of them can edit one of my 90-second LinkedIn videos within an hour. So keep that in mind. It really puts it in perspective. This does not have to be a break the bank video production situation. I know historically video production was like known as this big intensive thing. It's really not like that at all. And that's why I created this program, was to dissipate that belief in professionals that video content needs to be expensive and time consuming. Nope, it can be super affordable, and it can take up hardly any time at all. Trisha, how much time would you say you spend on your videos now?
I mean, all in each video, maybe 30, 40 minutes, but I batch them. So I write the scripts in a batch, and then I will film in a batch. So, all in, maybe 2-3 hours for my videos for the month. And I do it all at once. And then I haven't filmed anything for about 6 weeks,
Wow.
But I'm still posting stuff, and I'm actually reposting stuff now because I have a decent library of it. But yeah, I think
Amazing.
that's the point, is the system. You provide a system. I didn't have a system before, and I knew if I was to keep sustaining the marketing efforts, it needed to be an easy system or I would abandon it. And
Exactly.
it's super easy for me now. I mean, I would say, you know, not easy as far as, you know, the creativity. Sometimes the creativity is hard. I get blocked sometimes, but the system itself is easy.
Right, right. And that's why she's in my elite program. So she can text me anytime when she runs out of ideas. I can still help her out because I do have a graduate program for people like Patricia, just to help maintain consistency, stay relevant with what's changing on LinkedIn, etc. So that's awesome. I just had another client tell me that the other day. He said he does 2 hours a month on all his videos, 2 hours a month. I mean, I'm like, wow. So it's really quick, you guys. Like this does not need to be this long, crazy process. This is what I did on Facebook for years. This is why the videos I provided to blogs on Facebook were so affordable, because I had figured out a way to create them and scale at mass for really cheap. So, and there are some apps, just so if any of you want to get started like right away, you don't want to wait till week 4 of my program. There's an app called Subtitle that's really great for just getting your subtitles on your raw video content. And there's also an app called Clips. If you guys want to check that out, if you have videos today that you just want some basic editing done. But it is really important you have at least subtitles. A lot of users on social media are without sound, even on LinkedIn. Even on LinkedIn, you'd be surprised. 85% of users are without sound. So if I have a client and they're not doing subtitles and they start working with me, I tell them to subtitle. They'll always, they come to me and say, Shay, I saw a huge increase in views right away. So that's amazing. So we'll wrap up here. Basically, I teach people how to get attention on LinkedIn. I teach people how to create videos that are compelling, that are engaging, that are valuable, that get people to like, know, and trust you, so that they click back on your profile, they learn more about what you do, they click connect, and they make the decision on their own once they get to your profile to actually reach out to you for business. So I always say the newsfeed is like window shopping. When we go to the mall, we don't always know what we need. We're just like, it's payday, I'm gonna go to the mall, I'm gonna get stuff. And then you walk through the mall and you do window shopping, you see a window you like, and you go in. That's the newsfeed. People see content they like and they go in. So don't be selling in the newsfeed. Like I said, don't have all your content have CTAs to call our law firm today. Just be valuable. What is valuable to your target market? Give, give, give. And now when they click back to your page, because you were so valuable, well, now this is a chance to be selly. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, it's very much an ad for my services. I'm not shy anymore. You know, I'm like, hey, this is what I do. This is how you can get in contact with me. Reach out today. Here's all my recommendations, all my testimonials. So clearly define what you do on your profile. Who do you help? I always say the formula, I help X, accomplish Y using Z. That works really great. Make sure that there's a CTA of where they can get in contact with you. And remember, you know, pay now or pay later. Like all of the advertising dollars are shifting away from television. The older generation is going to die. Everyone who's consuming mediums that way, they're not going to be around forever. Social media is the new place to advertise. So I always say you're either going to invest now in your own platform so that you can advertise your own products and services, or you're not going to invest. And in future years, when all of the eyeballs are on social media, you're just going to end up spending your law firm's advertising and marketing budget to advertise elsewhere on social media, to run paid ads. I don't run any paid ads. I don't pay for any ads. I do everything organic because I've taken the time to invest now. So not only am I building a platform for myself to promote my own services, I am building a platform where I can attract other advertising dollars in the future. So, you know, think of other industries that you partner with, people that you regularly, you know, white label or barter with or exchange services with. That's someone where if you're going to grow your social media, they're going to want a piece of that action, and you can actually charge to promote them as well in the future. And growth is exponential. So it gets easier. In the first year, I gained 60,000 followers. In the second year, I gained 200,000 followers, and I'm on pace to be at over 1 million followers by this time next year. So it does get quicker. It gets faster and faster the more you grow. And I break down more in the program about how to actually build up your connections in the quickest way possible and get that momentum going sooner there as you start to make these videos as well. So that's it. I feel like I already covered a lot of this on this call, but basically I just want to tell you all a little bit more about the program. It's a 6-week LinkedIn video bootcamp. So it's designed to take 6 weeks, but you do have access to the online program forever. So you can take as long as you need. I have clients who blow through the whole thing in 2 weeks. I have some who take 6 weeks. I have some who take longer. It's about a half-hour investment per day. So if every weekday after work, you sit down for a half hour and do the steps in the program, you will have, just like myself and just like Patricia, a system built for coming up with content ideas that resonate with your target market, that grow your profile and build consistently so that you can get inbound leads. And then how to sustain that system you've built, what equipment you need, any of the questions that you're thinking on this call, it's all answered in the program. And you can master this in a short amount of time, just 6 weeks. And that is what I'm going to put in the chat right now. Robert, if you also want to, let me see here. Let me go to the chat. If you want to start pulling up questions for me, I don't know if you've been writing them down. I'm just going to ask Patricia a few questions about her experience in the boot camp. And then I will drop this link here in the chat and we can do Q&A. So let me just drop this here quick. 1 second, you guys. So I did do a special for Robert's community because he was so amazing at putting all this together. But this is the checkout link. And then there's a promo code in the next 24 hours if you guys sign up. If you type in Inner Circle in that promo code link, it's a $2,000 off offer for my program, but you got to sign up today. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Patricia, I know that, a lot of businesses usually they have like a marketing expense. Businesses will pay for these sort of marketing services. Do you have any advice for all the lawyers on this call who say that it has to be like a lawyer expense or a marketing expense? Like, how did you deal with that when you bought my program?
So I was lucky. I have a marketing expense that isn't completely in my control. So I expense the program. And I think if you have that, $3,000 in the scheme of what you probably already spend in marketing is nothing. I go to a conference, a 2 to 3 day conference, and it's easily over $3,000. When you're talking about the cost of the conference, the airfare, the rooms, the alcohol, the drinks, the dinner, the clients, all that stuff. So if you have that, I'm gonna switch back to speaker view. If you have a marketing budget, easy peasy, $3,000 compared to what you're already doing is probably nothing. If you don't have that and you have a partner, if you have a firm that you have to submit to, I would absolutely that should be your first go-to, is submit it as an expense. If you're worried about submitting it as an expense, I think what you should do, if you are already marketing, go back from 2019, pull up what you spent in marketing and see if that compares. If you're already marketing, chances are you're already spending more than $3,000 of the firm's money anyway. So to go to the managing partner and say, look, instead of going to this conference this year, I want to invest in social media marketing, and this is how much this is going to cost. And here's the returns. And maybe you go with data. Like if anybody wants to pitch their partner and wants some data, separately email me. I'll send you my data of where I started a year ago versus where I am now, and the leads and the revenue that's being generated. But if you have a forward-thinking partner, it should be a no-brainer. Right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a forward-thinking partner, you have to go in there and pitch it like you would pitch going to a conference or whatever other marketing expense that you want to do. And if you don't have that, let's just say you're 100% not going to approach your partner for it, I think you find room, put it on your credit card. It is worth it. I mean, listen, I don't get anything from Shay for this. Nothing. I'm here because I so support her program. There are things that I have bought in my life that I regretted. There's things that I bought in my life that I was like, all right, that met my expectation. And there's things that I bought that blew me away. And her program blew me away because it took me from 0 to 100 miles per hour in such a short time. What I was looking to do, I was spinning my wheels. I wasn't getting done what I wanted to do. And after it within 2 weeks, everything's changed. So I think it's worth it. If you can't get it expensed, put it on that credit card. Pay for your tax return. I don't know. Taxes are coming out now, right? At least in the US they are. So
yeah. No, thank you, Patricia. Yeah, it means a lot. It's been super inspiring to see all my clients. I mean, I work with many industries, but working with yourself and just seeing you go from that place of not having anything, not knowing how to get started, all the way to 100, where it's like, you're just a pro now, like you're just doing it yourself. And I love what you said about the networking events, you know, like a lot of law firms using that as an expense. How much more valuable are those networking events going to be when you show up and everyone already knows you from your LinkedIn videos? I mean, think about that. This compounds over time. This is a marketing expense that you can take with you no matter where you go. The principles that I teach for video, you can take it for your Facebook page. You can take, Patricia started growing her YouTube channel. You know, she started a podcast. So like, there's so many things in here that are invaluable for the rest of your career in digital marketing. I think we all know now, with the advent of the coronavirus and everything that's been shifting, that digital marketing is not going anywhere. You know, now is the time to invest. Now is the time to start growing your following. And LinkedIn is only going to get more and more competitive. It has. You know, I got on here 2 years ago. There was hardly any video creators at all. Now you see more and more popping up. I mean, there's still a great opportunity. There's not a lot of competition yet, but I do believe that it's coming. And I think you all, as lawyers, have a really unique opportunity to solidify yourself as one of the first in the field, because it doesn't actually matter who's the more experienced lawyer. It matters who's getting seen, who's top of mind, who are people seeing. You know, there's probably people out there who've been in digital marketing for many years, but they're not being seen. You know, I'm being seen. I've been in this industry for 4 years, but I've built a following of over 300,000 people. People know me, so people come to me for advice. So keep that in mind as well. And thank you, Trisha, for being on this call. Let's do some Q&A. Let's bounce back between me and Trisha. What do you got, Robert? Let's do it.
So much. And also, if everyone's enjoying what they're listening to, should mention Shay also featured on our Legally Speaking podcast, which she did a fantastic episode on, talking even more about LinkedIn. So definitely check that out. We've had quite a few questions in. So first question, Shay, is will you actually be providing a copy of the presentation for people that attended this webinar? Can we share that with them?
This video or?
The presentation that you had.
Oh, the actual like Google Slides? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Sure.
And then someone's asked, is there a difference between posting directly on LinkedIn or posting on YouTube and sharing the link on LinkedIn?
That's a great question. Yeah. I bet you Patricia could answer this for me because I've coached her on it and she knows the answer.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. So basically, this is consistent with all social media platforms. Any social media platform is going to have a bias against external links. Think about it. Logically, they don't want to promote links that take people off of LinkedIn and onto another platform. So if you just share a YouTube link, it's not going to go as far as if you actually upload a native video, a clip from that YouTube video. Maybe you have a longer form video version on YouTube, but you took a 60-second highlight, uploaded the video natively to LinkedIn. Now you can just say, hey, for the full video, click the link in the comments to my YouTube. Now in the comments, that's where you want to put your YouTube link, because then it won't get docked in the algorithm. But yes, this is consistent on all social media platforms. They will dock you in the algorithm if you're sharing external links. So this is also a lot of people come into my program doing that. They come in doing YouTube links, and then I teach them the whole formula for creating native videos like I've done with Trisha, and they're like, oh my God, this is way better reach. So yeah, no external links. Just put it in the comments and have a CTA in your copy to click on in the comments.
There we go. Another question, tips and advice on how to shoot videos when you really feel self-conscious about your looks.
Join my boot camp, man. Join my boot camp. We go over all of it. I do think that there's an advantage to being attractive, and we just have to be real about that. Like, let's not pretend that it doesn't help that I'm a young, energetic blonde. I'm not going to pretend that doesn't help me. But at the end of the day, it's the context of what you're saying. And it's how relatable you are. You know, I'm actually a lot less relatable in the way I look and my lifestyle than a lot of people on LinkedIn. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I always joke I would have way more followers if I had a husband and kids, because everyone on LinkedIn can relate to that. So I think that it's actually a really beautiful experience because I've had a lot of clients say that to me where they're self-conscious about how they look on camera. When they go through my program, they come out with like this whole new confidence and they become more attractive. Like, I'm not kidding. It like makes you more attractive once you learn how to speak and become more confident. You know, you radiate that. It's not just the way you physically look, it's your energy. So I would just say, be brave, you know, be brave and get over it. Nobody in their right mind is going to call you ugly, is going to make fun of your looks. And if they do, that's just a very sad person who has their own insecurities. You know, 99% of the time when people are insulting you, it's a projection because they have not dealt with their own stuff. Okay. So, join my program. We talk more about how you can feel confident on camera. I have coached many different people, young, old, bald, beard, whatever. You know, it's not about how you look, it's the context of your message and how much value can you provide. And, you know, I don't mean to be brash when I say this, but like there's a lot of old, ugly dudes on LinkedIn. Like you're relatable, you know, you're a relatable person on this platform. So it's not like we're doing America's Next Top Model here. It's just LinkedIn and it's business and you're just like everybody else. So don't be scared.
And I would add to that too, the first video I ever posted, it scared the crap out of me. Like I think I was more scared of posting that first video than I was my first trial. Like, and that's ridiculous, right? So, but it gets easier. And I think if you have those insecurities, you can always remember just videoing it. You don't have to do anything with it. You know, you can do 10 videos and no one can ever see it. So just start that video, even if you're insecure. But getting that momentum going will get you over that fear and that insecurity. Maybe not get you over it, but it'll be easier to deal with.
It gets a lot easier. Yeah. It's always the first video. It's funny, like from like week 3, Trisha, to like week 5, I like see the clients become like more and more confident on camera. I'm like, wow, now they're really starting to find their voice, everything. Just like riding a bike, you guys. The first one is the hardest.
There we go. And then there's a lot of current lawyers and future lawyers and students listening to this. So one of the questions is around marketing budget. Some of them may not have that. So what tips would you give on shooting video in a genuine and natural way?
Just be real, you know, be real, keep it short. If you have something that comes up throughout your day that kind of like triggers you or ignites, like it like elicits this emotion in you, pull out your phone and shoot a video about it. You know, it doesn't mean you have to post it, but I've found that in those moments when I'm like, oh, just really inspired, and like, if I can actually captivate it on video and post it, it's a really awesome way to grow a following because it's so authentic and genuine. And that's really what I did in the beginning. I mean, yes, I had a team and I had editors and things to help me optimize, but I would say if you're on a budget and you just want to get started, that would be my tip is, you know, just do what you can to film whatever comes up in the moment. Remember, you don't have to post it. Even if you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm documenting this right now. I'm so stressed, whatever it is. You don't have to actually publish it. Just have it and start to, you know, create content that way. Or throughout the day in your office, things happen, wins happen, celebrations, you know, whip out your phone and shoot a video on it. Just get in the habit of documenting, not with the pressure to post it. Just like, hey, I'm going to start documenting my life more, just for you, just to say, I'm going to do it for me. I'm going to start documenting my life just for me, a vlog diary for myself. I guarantee once you do that long enough, you're going to be dying to release some of the vlogs.
And also ask yourself, really, what do you have any kind of budget? Do you have $25 to shoot a video? What about $50 to shoot a video? Because you can put up an ad on Upwork and say, look for a video, put this, you know, 90-second video together, and I have $25 to give you. There will be somebody who bites. It may not be quality, but it'll get you started and it'll get you to see the possibilities. So I would try to see, look at your budget. What can you shift around? And then what does that look like? And just try one and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. And Shay, as you know, I'm a massive fan of LinkedIn, and we're definitely talking about LinkedIn, but there are other social medias and other things creeping in. So one question is, what's your views on lawyers using TikTok for less serious content, but still law related?
Yeah, great question. You know, my thoughts on TikTok are it's similar to LinkedIn in that it's really easy to grow. There's not enough content per the users, which is the same issue on LinkedIn. So you have a high chance of your content getting seen. So it doesn't hurt to explore with TikTok and grow there. What you're not going to find on TikTok is the budget, the people with the money, the people who are actually going to buy. So it's just kind of one of those afterthoughts for me. Like I do repurpose to TikTok, but I haven't actually gotten any qualified leads through that platform. Everyone that is in the mindset to do business and take me seriously and, you know, spend today, they are on LinkedIn. So I would definitely focus most of your efforts there and build a content strategy on LinkedIn first, where you can get the most return. And then once you actually start getting an ROI and you have more money to reinvest in your marketing strategy, that's when I would say start to experiment with more TikTok and these other platforms.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people that are tuning in do a lot of blogging, Instagramming that's focused all around the law. Do you think it's a good idea for them to advertise their LinkedIn account on there? And will this bring more viewers and followers to them?
Can you say it again? Repeat the question.
So a lot of the people tuning in will have their own Instagram blogs and sort of very law related at the moment. Do you think it's a good idea for them to start advertising their LinkedIn account on there where they've built up a following already?
Yes,
Will
yes,
that bring
absolutely.
more viewers and followers?
Yep, absolutely. Just say, hey, follow with me on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. You can on Instagram have one link in your bio. Just make that your LinkedIn profile for a week and put out a video on your IG or your IGTV, make a story even saying, hey, I'm looking to grow my LinkedIn. I'm going to start releasing a lot of valuable content for around law on my LinkedIn. Go click the link in my bio to connect with me now. I'm accepting all connection requests. You know, let's help each other grow. I would definitely recommend that. Yeah.
Good stuff. And then tips on being confident with being authentic in videos. You know, sometimes people are saying it's scary to be yourself, so openly following that, dealing with the criticism of that authentic video content. What do you say to that?
Yeah, you know, again, this is everything that we teach in my program. I mean, it's the mechanics, like Trisha said, it's the systems, it's the principles and everything that I've learned over the years of digital marketing, but it's really confidence coaching. Like that's what we do, is we teach you how to have that confidence on camera, how to have trust that you being your authentic self is going to return in revenue and in leads. Trisha, why don't you take this question? What are your thoughts? What was like kind of your journey in getting over that and becoming more real on camera?
Super hard. I have to say the first couple months, I'm not that I wasn't authentic, but I wasn't vulnerable. Right. I was very like, I am a lawyer. I'm professional. I am smart. And you're going to know that I'm smart. Over time, that shield or that armor kind of went away. And I found that the more authentic, the more vulnerable that I've been in my post and my videos, the more people react. Like it is amazing. I did a post about how I don't celebrate Father's Day because I was raised by a single mom. And I got so many DMs from people that just were blown away that I put something like that. It was a very personal story for me. And I shared it and I got so many DMs. It's almost over 50,000 views on that post.
Wow.
And it really was, I was like, and I literally, it was just like an afterthought. I threw it up. I didn't put it in a pod. I didn't try to, push the engagement. And it was just, people respond to you being authentic. And all you need is a little taste of it. And once you get a little taste of it, you're going to want to be more authentic. And that's what I found, that I want to be more vulnerable because the response that I'm getting from people that this has inspired me, or I had this conversation or whatever, it's amazing. I really, I urge you guys to be really vulnerable and authentic, even on a professional platform.
And that leads really nicely on to my next question. Conscious we've only got 2 minutes left of the webinar. We probably won't get through all the questions, but one really good question is, how do you keep it professional whilst not coming across as being boring? After all, it is the law. That's a question from someone. So how can they keep it from being professional, but not coming across as boring and getting people engaged, even though they're in the legal industry?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's really common because it's not just law. It's a lot of industries I work with. It's finance people. It's like HR. It can all be kind of boring. That's what the program is for. Is how can you take these boring industries and create content on LinkedIn that actually grabs attention and moves the needle. That's exciting. Another one of my bootcamp graduates, Dana Matilla, she does finance and fraudulent prevention. and she's found a way to make it really interesting. Like, her content is really fun and engaging. Like, she does skits about it, she makes jokes about it. So this is all something that comes with the territory once you actually join the program. But I would say at the end of the day, just provide value. Like, seriously, just think what is valuable. Yeah, it might seem boring, but like, if you're always in the mindset of giving, how can I just give? How can I give so much? How can I give all my free tips away? That's what people tell me. They're like, aren't you afraid you're giving away too much free coaching? I'm like, there's no such thing. Like, I do give it all away. Like, people still hire me. There's always more things that they can learn from me. So just not having a scarcity mindset, having trust and faith that the more you give, the more you get. And if you're genuinely coming from that place, it's not going to be boring. If it's helping someone, it's not going to be boring. But if you do want to learn more about how to jazz it up, how to have catchy headlines and all of that, definitely join my program because I teach all of it.
And on that bombshell, that wraps it up. So thank you so much to Shay and to Trisha. Hopefully everyone has got lots of value from that. I've certainly learned a lot, and I've been on the platform for 10 years. So I look forward to connecting with you all. Please do follow Shay, Trisha on LinkedIn, follow myself, follow Kissoon Carr, Legally Speaking Podcast. Please do. We'll be sharing a hashtag that we'll be sending around following up after this as well. And yeah, thank you to everyone for tuning in. This will also be recorded, so we'll be able to send it around to those of you that have missed it. I know a number of people were hoping to attend, but thank you so much once again, Shay and Trisha, and everyone for tuning in.
Yep, my pleasure.
Hey guys.
Thanks for having us, Robert.
Brilliant.
Bye,
Take care.
guys.
Everyone else.
Bye.